We're pleased to be joined now by Emma Berry, the TDN's European editor, and the segment where we learn what's going on overseas. And this is called News You Can Use. It's presented by Darley, and we're pleased to be joined by Emma. It's sales time. Obviously, as we're talking about this, it's in the middle of the Keeneland sale. But after Keeneland is over, a lot of the attention is going to turn to the big yearling sales in Europe. We've seen such huge interest in Keeneland this year in the offspring of freshman sires. Are there any comparable young stallions in Europe that everybody's excited about?
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting to see over the next kind of 4 weeks of sales, really, from next week in Britain, Ireland and France. But the two sort of main elite sales, if you like, for yearlings in Ireland first with the Goffs Orby sale, and then Book One at Tattersalls October in Newmarket. So, you're used to in those sales seeing the really big names coming out. There'll be plenty of Dubawis and Frankels, Siounis, all of that. But probably two of, I suppose, the sort of more interesting first season sires. We've already talked about one of them actually ahead of the Arcana sale, and that was St Mark's Basilica. He's got even more yearlings to come now, especially in Ireland and also at Book One. He was a terrific racehorse. He only ran 4 times at 3. He was a Group 1 winner at 2, and then he in his 4 starts at 3 he ran in 4 Group 1s and won them all. So in 3 different countries, he's coming in, I'm sure, with a lot of hope behind him, and some really nice mares that were sent to him. He had one of his yearlings actually in the Goffs Orby sale had a very nice update at the weekend. His half brother Jan Bruegel won the St Leger, so that'll be one to look out for. And then we've got Space Blues, who'll be so familiar to plenty of American listeners as well. Breeders' Cup Mile winner, as well as being, one of the faster sons of Dubawi here. He won the Prix de la Forêt over 7 furlongs in France. I think he was the first of 3 consecutive Breeders' Cup Mile winners for Charlie Appleby and for Dubawi as well. So his first yearlings are coming out. There are plenty of those in the Orby sale. He stands in Ireland at Kildang and Stud. And I think, we've already seen a couple of sons of Dubawi actually come through. Night of Thunder is the sire of Economics, who was so exciting at the weekend. And the Irish Champion Stakes, and of course Too Darn Hot, another young stallion. So again, there'll be plenty of hope. I'm sure that Space Blues can be one of those sons of Dubawi that comes through with some exciting young runners from next year.
So Emma, as we know all too well, on this side of the pond, our turf racing is nowhere near as good as the turf racing on your side of the pond, but it's getting better. It's getting more popular with owners over here. More and more turf races are being carded over here. And kind of dovetailing with that, we've seen increased American participation at Orby, at the October sales over there, Peter Brandt and some others. Can we expect to see more of the same this year with the Americans coming over there to your sales?
I would certainly think so, yes. And I mean, I'd love to see in the future turf stallions being better supported by American breeders, in Kentucky and elsewhere. Whether that will happen ever or not, I don't know. But in the meantime, I suppose the flip side of that for Europe is that it does entice plenty of American buyers to these sales. Over the last few years, we've seen, Chad Brown's a regular with Mike Ryan and the Claridge Stables team, and they've, really reaped the rewards of working the sales really hard here with some, and I think there's 3 Turf Classic winners that have come from Book One alone in recent years, program trading and domestic spending. I think Digital Age was another. We've seen Breeders' Cup winners, Aunt Pearl and Newspaper of Record. So with those kind of results being a regular feature, it's absolutely easy to expect to see, I think as many American buyers, if not a few more this year, coming, because, as you say, the turf program is expanding in America, and it's certainly worth looking at that profile of horse to have a go for some really good prize money.
Emma, are there any particular eye-catching lots that you might expect that we'll be reading about here in the States in the headlines of the European TDN? Anybody that really catches your eye at the Orby or the Tattersalls October sales?
I think the one yearling that everyone will be making a beeline for when she arrives at Park Paddocks at Tattersalls will be the full sister to Alpinista, who won the Arc a couple of years ago for her breeder Kirsten Rousing, the Full Sisters coming to book 1, and she's got to be a star attraction. Even if she never races, which we all certainly hope she will, and that's a family that just turns out winner after winner after winner. But for pedigree alone, she's a really attractive prospect, and I think she will be the one that there'll be a big crowd around her, I'm sure, once she gets there. It'll be so interesting to see. At the Orby, I'm really looking forward to seeing the full brother to Luxembourg, who is a horse that I never really think gets enough love. He's a Group 1 winner at 2, 3, 4 and 5. I don't think there are many horses you can say that about. And he's by Camelot. His full brother's featuring in the Orby. So, we'll see what he can do as well.
Well, Emma, thanks for joining us and filling us in on the European sales scene. This has been News You Can Use, presented by Darley, and we'll catch up with you again soon, okay?
Great to see you. Thanks.
Well, Emma told you a little bit earlier about Space Blues, the Darley stallion, and his yearlings will be selling now at the upcoming sales. But here's a little bit more about Space Blues. He covered a book of 160 mares back in 2022, his very first season at stud, 122 of which are related to or are stakes winners. Some other Space Blues facts. His first crop included the progeny from Grade 1 winning mares Ever Love and Penelope, 19 from sisters to Grade 1 winners. His second and third years at stud saw him cover more mares than in his first year. 375 mares in total covered. Of those, 265 are stakes winners or relatives. From his second crop of foals, born earlier this year at a fee of 16,000 euros, there are 23 out of stakes performing dams and another 23 that are siblings to black type horses. And Space Blues currently has 149 in-foal mares carrying his third crop at stud. This has been News You Can Use, Part 2, presented by Darley.
He's all class, this champion miner.
And he's launched on the outside here with a great turn of foot.
Palace Pier, Palace Pier, Palace Pier, Palace Pier.
Space Blues, Space Blues.
Space Blues, Space Blues.
He's danced every dance, he's an incredibly sound horse. After every run, he always comes back for more.
He's a true Dubawi that goes out there and he gives everything.